Mr. President.
The senator from Georgia.
Mr. President, I want to make a statement that has not been heard much around these halls or these chambers in a couple of years. But on the 7th day of February of this month, this February, the Veterans Affairs Committee reported by a vote of 17-0.
The Senate will be in order.
The name of David Shulkin to be the next Secretary of the Veterans Administration. That is a unanimous vote. 9 Republicans, 8 Democrats, everybody voted for this man to be our Secretary of the VA. And I'm going to ask each member of this chamber today, let's do it as an entire body and find out at least there's one thing we agree upon. They're not Republican veterans, they're not Democratic veterans, they're American veterans who went to the battlefield and fought for us. It's time we fought for them, and Dr. Shulkin is the right man at the right time for the Veterans Administration. On the 15th of March of 2015, we hired him to come in and take over and be Undersecretary of Veterans Health. The President looked around and found the best man to run the VA and found him in David Shulkin. David Shulkin is committed to the following thing: fixing the problems that avail the Veterans Administration, making sure the choice program works, making sure that every veteran gets the care they deserve, the care we all want them to get, and see to it that they get it for us. So I'm going to ask each member to cast their vote today for David Shulkin, but also cast your vote for our veterans. This is a time for us to send the message to them that we're right. We don't want to privatize the VA. We don't want to reorganize the VA. We want to make the VA work, give our veterans access to every bit of care they can possibly get, and follow in the line of other great leaders that have been in the Veterans Administration before. I am very pleased to serve with John Tester from Montana, who's my ranking member. We've worked together as a team, Democrats and Republicans, to make this happen. I'd like to yield the balance of the time to John Tester from Montana on the nomination of David Shulkin for the Veterans Administration.
Mr. President.
Senator from Montana.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise, as does the Secretary from Georgia, to support the confirmation of David Shulkin to be the Secretary of the VA. But first, I want to take this opportunity to thank Chairman Isakson for his leadership on the Veterans Affairs Committee throughout this confirmation process and throughout the many processes that I've seen him work as chairman of this committee. Look,
Mr. President, the
Senate will be in order.
Look, I think it's critically important we have a Secretary of the VA to serve our veterans. I think Dr. Shulkin is the perfect person for that position.
Mr. President, we have order, please.
Senate will be in order. Senator from Montana.
Thank you, Mr. President. The solutions to the VA's problems should be based on common sense rather than partisanship or an extreme agenda. And I think Dr. Shulkin recognizes that. He is committed to our nation's veterans above all. Through the conversations I've had with him over the last year and a half, I think he understands the challenges that are ahead of us in the VA. The choice program, for example, that has been a wreck by anybody's standards and is looming with dramatic funding shortfalls, is a program that we need to work on here in Congress, and we will on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee to fix, and I think Dr. Shulkin's on top of it. I can tell you that I have many letters from veterans across Montana that talk about how the choice program has not worked. It's not that it isn't a good idea. We all agreed when we passed it was a good idea, but it needs to be changed to fix the needs of our veterans and make it more workable. One other thing that's a big problem, and that is the workforce problem we have within the VA. The hiring freeze has made this problem even worse. We all talk about the backlog, and the backlog is real, but we need to make sure that the VA has the people they need to serve the veterans in this country, whether it's reducing that backlog or whether it's making sure they get the care they need. And finally, and Johnny talked about this, privatization. He has reassured me that he will oppose efforts to privatize the VA. Typically, this isn't a problem, but the administration has talked about it extensively. And I think that would be a path that's reckless for our veterans, and I think the Veteran Service Organization would tell you that. So again, I would like to express my support for the nomination of Dr. Shulkin as VA Secretary. I believe he will stand up for our veterans. I believe that he will put them above politics. And moving forward, I'm looking forward to working with him and other members in this body to make sure we serve our veterans the best we possibly can. Our veterans deserve no less. With that, I yield the floor and cede back my time.
The Democratic time has been yielded back. Okay. The Senate will be in order.
I want to thank the senator from Montana and urge every member of the Senate, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, to cast their vote for our veterans, cast their vote for our country, cast their vote for David Shulkin to be the permanent secretary or the new secretary of the Veterans Administration. And I yield back the balance of our time.